Hey everyone, this is me, Alan Grace, and today we'll be having a comprehensive report about pre-colonial literatures in the Philippines. But before anything else, let's just have this brief discussion about what is pre-colonial literature. So, pre-colonial literature refers to an oral knowledge preserved among the illiterate masses elsewhere or the oral literature of all people, whether they are written knowledge or not. The Philippine pre-colonial period was filled of indigenous people engaged in healthy trade with various cultures and economies in the region and the foreign traders. Pre-colonial period literature is characterized based on oral traditions, crude ideology, and phraseology. Philippine pre-colonial literature deals with oral traditions, which is in the form of epic poems, oral genealogies, riddles, rhymes, wise sayings, folk tales, etc. And mostly of the theme of these works are often spiritual or cosmological, or they were moral tales. So I have here Biag ni Lamang, The Life of Lamang in English by Pedro Bocaneg. This is considered as an epic poem. And before that, what is an epic poem? Epic poem are long narrative verses relating the feats of ancestral heroes against great odds. These are being chanted in important events in the life of a community in order to inspire and remind people about their ideals and values. So, since this is authored by Pedro Bocaneg, so Pedro Bocaneg is known to be father of Ilocano literature, and he is a foremost Ilocano poet and Christian missionary born in Bantay Abra. Because of his extensive knowledge of Spanish and Ilocano language, he co-authored the Ilocano Spanish grammar book and dictionary, and he also take part of the publication of the first Ilocano book, and he has his famous poem entitled Dead, which shows a clear and vigorous philosophy of death. So let's move on to Biag ni Lamang. Biag ni Lamang is an epic story that represents the Ilocano people from the Ilocos region of the Philippines, and it is also notable for being the first Philippine folk epic to be recorded in written form, and was only one of the two folk epics documented during the Philippine and Spanish colonial period, along with Bicolano epic of Handiong. It is also noted for being a folk epic from a Christianized lowland people group, which is the Ilocano people, with elements incorporated into the storytelling. In this story, Lamang possesses immortality and as well as supernatural strength. He is gifted with immortality. He dedicated his life in fighting evil and oppression wherever he is. And then we have also the Filipino values that is portrayed in the epic's poem, which is the qualities and several characteristics of Filipinos. The fact, the traits, attitudes, and values being shown in the phenomenal epic are all the reflections of our ancestors, especially the Ilocanos, who were the source of this counterfeit peace during pre-Spanish period. It depicts the unwavering bravery, justice, love, romance, relationship, journey, and even friendship. The greatness of heroism is present in the said epic poem and is filled with idealistic and imagination and fantasy. The values that we can get from the epic of Lamang is the value of being respectful. Because in the story, Lamang really loves his mother, and he respects his mother like how he loves and respect Ines, his wife. And he also respect other people. Another is the determination. That this value reflects so much to Lamang as well as to us Filipino people. In the epic, it shows the importance of family. Lamang's love to his family is immeasurable. He was selfless upon searching for his father in the first place. The leadership skills were also manifested, wherein he protected the town and the people from the possible colonization of the Igorots, which is considered as the enemy. And then the epic also emphasizes the rivalry between the suitors of Ines, and it's just like showing a picture of how Filipino fight for love and doing everything just to prove how dedicated we are. In the end, um, the hero dies but then resurrects, and it incorporates Christian practices, and this is what makes this epic unique because it possesses the Christian practices, and only few epics has that um kind of ending. And the theme of the epic revolves on the bravery and the courage of the main character, portrayed by Lam Ang, who was gifted with speech as early as his day of birth, and he even named himself, and as well as the embark on a series of adventures which culminated in his heroic death and subsequent resurrection. There are lots of moral lessons that we can get from this epic story. It is about a family and marriage, and then the moral lesson of the story is that we should we should persevere in life. That no matter what trials may come, we should try our hardest and never back down. This is the main um, moral story that I come up with while reading the epic poem, which which give us that which means that life is full of trials, challenges, and problems. We should be strong and brave enough to face them and eventually defeat them one by one, and that we should accept the reality that no one in this world is living happily without problems, and because living in this world facing a problems with might is the best way to live a happy life. And also, the story leaves a long lasting expression of bravery, revenge, and romance, and magic and love, because the author makes use of in this epic too, the author makes use of peculiar animals to add up more flavor in the story and to have some twist. He even make use of the old tribes and the imaginary characters as well, just like other mythology, which almost ends up in a happy ending story. And then this one follows the rule of a fairy tale, like that everybody lives happily ever after at the end. Yes, stereotypical, but the difference of this is that the other magical story is it is native masterpiece that we Filipinos should be proud of because it is about the Igorots, and the epic poem showed some of the earlier customs, culture, traditions, and belief of Ilocano people of the Philippines. The story is presented of some qualities of people of the Ilocos region, the adventurers, how adventurous they are, hardy, brave, and strong, is well portrayed by Lamang. And the lesson, I have also seen a lesson about marriage, wherein if you want to be, is that marriage can wait in the right time. Then if you want to be in that stage of life, then we must really have to prepare ourselves to take risk. And for me, this epic story, The Life of Lamang, is a mix of adventure and romance with exciting and predictable plot turns, and the epic poem also presented some humorous points. The Tortoise and the Monkey by Jose Rizal. This is a folk tale. This is my other literary genre. So this folk tale exists written during the pre-colonial period, according to research. And before we go through the story, what is folktale? So folktale is a traditional tale that has been passed down through generations. Folktales are stories and told orally rather than in written form, and fables, myths, and fairy tales are also connected to it. And the Tortoise and the Monkey is uh, about the story of how greedy a monkey is and is mischievous. But in this story, the theme of the story is that the weak but intelligent can be far powerful than the powerful. The weak here is the turtle or the tortoise, and the powerful, said to be powerful, is the monkey. But instead of being intimidated by a stronger foe's apparent resilience, one should use intellect and dignity. This tells us that The monkey are tricky creatures, but there are always a way to get around devious creatures. In this case, in this story, the tortoise played on the monkey's stupidity because he was the monkey and the tortoise. She was being fooled by a monkey. Then he had to, like, the tortoise planned for something, and then he must pay. The monkey must pay for what he did to the tortoise. And then no the monkey, without even remembering that the tortoise can amphibian and can swim and wouldn't be drowned. So but then, as a revenge towards the tortoise for giving the monkey a few cuts and bleed, he thrown the tortoise into the sea. But then, not even remembering that the tortoise can swim, because the tortoise did white lies to get away, and then it survived. She survived at the end. The turtle is known in this story. The turtle is known for extraordinary cleverness and sagacity. It's another example of a story in which the vulnerable and deviousness win over the strong but stupid. So the strong and stupid is the monkey. The moral lesson of this is that you should not be greedy and don't be conceited. And this folk tale is well known to be among both Christianized and non-Christianized tribes in the Philippines, as well as in Borneo and Java. However, the Ilocano is the only version known to have an explanatory element. The reason why monkeys do not eat meat is explained in the story, and and I cannot even elaborate it, but that's it. It was being included in the story. So thank you and have a blessed day.